Hi, everyone, and welcome to Learn English at Home, the podcast where we practice everyday English through natural conversations. I'm Monica.
And I'm Ethan. Today we're talking about exercise and working out at home. This is such a common topic in everyday conversation, so it's perfect for practicing your English.
Exactly. And I have to be honest with you all and with Ethan. I really struggle with this topic. I barely exercise at all.
Really?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I'm always so busy with work, and by the time I get home, I'm exhausted. The last thing I want to do is exercise. I tell myself I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes.
I hear you. That's actually really common. But you know what? I used to be exactly the same way.
Really? But you exercise all the time now, right?
And actually, let me tell you a quick story about how I got started. 2 years ago, I was in the exact same position as you. I had joined 3 different gyms over the years, and I never went more than a handful of times to any of them. Well, I work out about 10 to 20 minutes a day, maybe 4 or 5 days a week. But the key thing is, I do it all at home. No gym membership, no fancy equipment.
Oh, wow, really? That makes me feel so much better. I thought I was the only one who wasted money on gym memberships I never used. Wait, only 10 to 20 minutes? That doesn't sound like much.
You're definitely not. The problem with gyms, for me at least, was the barrier to entry. I had to get dressed, drive there, find parking, deal with crowds. By the time I thought about all that, I'd already talked myself out of it. That's exactly the point. Most people think they need to work out for an hour at the gym to see any benefits, but that's not true at all. Even small amounts of exercise can make a huge difference.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on feeling intimidated by all the super fit people at the gym. So, what changed for you? What made you finally stick with it? Okay, you've got my attention, but I have zero equipment at home. I don't even have space for equipment.
The turning point was when I stopped trying to be perfect. I literally started by doing jumping jacks during commercial breaks while watching TV. No special clothes, no preparation, just 30 seconds here and there. Perfect. You don't need any equipment. Let me ask you this. Do you have enough space to lie down on the floor?
Wait, during TV commercials? That's actually brilliant. I watch TV every night anyway, so I wouldn't be adding any extra time to my schedule. Well, yeah, of course.
Exactly. That's called habit stacking. You attach a new habit to something you already do regularly. After a few weeks of commercial break workouts, I started doing a few exercises right after I brushed my teeth in the morning. Then you have enough space. Think about it. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats, jumping jacks. You can do all of these in your living room.
That's so smart. I'm already brushing my teeth anyway, so if I just did a few squats right after, it wouldn't feel like I'm adding a whole new thing to my routine. But I don't know how to do those exercises properly. What if I hurt myself?
Right? And here's the thing about that voice in your head that makes excuses. It's always going to be there, saying you're too tired, too busy, too whatever. The trick is to make exercise so easy that your excuse-making brain can't argue with it. That's a great question. Here's my secret weapon, YouTube.
Oh my gosh, yes. That voice is so loud sometimes. Just this morning, it told me I was too tired to make coffee, but somehow I still managed to do that. So maybe I can trick it with exercise too. YouTube?
Haha, perfect example. Now, let me share another tip that really helped me stay motivated. I started keeping track of my workouts, but not in the way you might think. Instead of tracking how many calories I burned or how much weight I lost, I just put a check mark on my calendar every day I did any exercise. Yes, there are thousands of free workout videos on YouTube, and I mean thousands. You can find beginner-friendly videos, short 10-minute workouts, exercises for small spaces, anything you want.
Just a check mark? That seems almost too simple. That actually sounds doable.
It is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. After a week, I could look at my calendar and see 7 check marks in a row. That felt amazing. And when I was tempted to skip a day, I didn't want to break my streak. It became like a game. Right? The instructors show you exactly how to do each exercise safely. And if you're not sure about something, you can pause the video and watch it again.
I love that. It's like that satisfaction you get from checking off items on a to-do list, but for exercise. But what happened when you inevitably missed a day? Didn't that break your motivation? That's true. But honestly, my biggest problem is motivation. After a long day at work, I just want to collapse on the couch and watch Netflix.
Great question. Of course, I missed days. We all do. The key is what I call the never miss twice rule. If I missed Monday, I made absolutely sure to exercise on Tuesday, even if it was just 30 seconds of stretching. The goal is to get right back into the habit before your brain thinks you've given up. Oh, I totally get that. But here's the thing. Exercise actually gives you more energy, not less.
Never miss twice. I like that. It takes the pressure off being perfect, but still keeps you accountable. But let me ask you this. Doesn't doing the same exercises get boring after a while? Really? That sounds backwards.
Absolutely. That's where creativity comes in. Some days I dance to music for 5 minutes. Sometimes I do exercises while watching Netflix. I've even done squats while waiting for my coffee to brew. The key is to think of movement as play, not punishment. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. When you exercise, your body releases chemicals called endorphins. They make you feel happier and more energetic. Plus, regular exercise improves your sleep quality, which means you wake up feeling more rested.
Movement as play. I never thought of it that way. I always saw exercise as this serious, challenging thing I had to suffer through. Dancing while doing chores actually sounds fun. Okay, that actually makes sense. My sleep has been terrible lately.
Music makes such a huge difference. When your favorite song comes on, it's almost impossible not to move your body. I have a specific playlist of energetic songs that are exactly 10 minutes long. When those songs are playing, I know it's time to move. Exactly. And here's another benefit. You said you're stressed from work, right?
That's brilliant. A playlist that's exactly 10 minutes takes all the guesswork out of timing. Do you have any other tips for setting up your space at home to make it easier to exercise? Yeah, constantly.
Great question. The biggest thing is to remove as many barriers as possible. I keep comfortable clothes right by my bed so I don't have to dig through drawers. I clear a small space in my living room and keep it clear. And I put my phone charger near that space so I'm not tempted to scroll instead of move. Exercise is one of the best stress relievers. When you're doing jumping jacks or push-ups, you can't think about your work problems. It gives your mind a break.
Smart. You're basically designing your environment to make the healthy choice the easy choice. Speaking of healthy choices, should I be thinking about diet and nutrition too? Or is that overcomplicating things when I'm just starting out? That's interesting. But what if I start and then quit after a week? That always happens to me.
I'm so glad you asked that. My philosophy is to change one thing at a time. Focus on building the exercise habit first. But if you want one simple nutrition tip that supports your new active lifestyle, try to drink more water. When you're dehydrated, everything feels harder, including exercise. That's why starting small is so important. Don't try to work out for an hour on your first day. Start with just 5 or 10 minutes.
I can definitely do that. I already drink coffee all day, so I can try to add a glass of water between each cup. But what about soreness? I'm worried that if I start exercising, I'll be too sore to continue the next day. 5 minutes? That's nothing.
That's actually another reason why starting small is so important. If you go from zero exercise to doing an intense workout, you'll definitely be sore. But if you start with just 5 minutes of gentle movement, you might feel a little stiff, but not painfully sore. Exactly, that's the point. 5 minutes is so easy that you can't make excuses. And once you do it for a few days, you'll start to feel good about it. Then you can gradually increase the time.
That makes sense, but how can I tell the difference between good soreness and bad pain? I don't want to hurt myself, but I also don't want to quit at the first sign of discomfort. You know what? You're making this sound really manageable. Can you give me some specific examples of what I could do?
Excellent question. Good soreness feels like a dull ache in your muscles, usually 24 to 48 hours after exercise. It's like your muscles saying, hey, we did some work. Bad pain is sharp, sudden, or in your joints rather than muscles. If something hurts during the exercise, stop immediately. Absolutely. Here's a super simple 5-minute routine you could try. Do each exercise for 30 seconds, then rest for 10 seconds. Ready?
Okay, that's really helpful. And if I do get that good kind of soreness, are there simple things I can do to feel better faster? Okay, go for it.
Absolutely. 3 simple things. First, keep moving gently. A slow walk or light stretching helps more than staying completely still. Second, drink plenty of water. And third, get good sleep. That's when your muscles actually recover and get stronger. First, marching in place. Just lift your knees up and down like you're walking but staying in one spot. Second, wall push-ups. Stand arm's length from a wall and push against it.
This is all so practical and doable. One last question though. What should I realistically expect in terms of results? I don't want to set myself up for disappointment if I'm not seeing dramatic changes right away. Wall push ups? That sounds much easier than regular push ups.
I love that you're thinking about this realistically. Here's the thing. The first changes you'll notice aren't physical, they're mental and emotional. Within a week or two, you'll probably notice you feel more energetic, sleep better, and handle stress more easily. Physical changes take longer, but those mental benefits happen fast. Exactly. Third, modified squats. Just sit down in a chair and stand up over and over. And fourth, arm circles. Hold your arms out to the sides and make small circles.
That's actually perfect because better energy and sleep are exactly what I need right now. If exercise helps with those things quickly, that might be enough motivation to keep going even before I see any physical changes. Wait, that's it? That doesn't sound hard at all.
Exactly. And remember, every single day you do something, even if it's just 60 seconds of movement, you're literally rewiring your brain to see yourself as someone who exercises. That identity shift is incredibly powerful. That's the beauty of it. Do that routine 3 times through and you've exercised for 5 minutes. After a week, if you feel good, you can try some of those YouTube videos I mentioned.
I love that, rewiring my brain. I'm also thinking this approach would work great year round. When it's raining or cold, I won't have the excuse of not wanting to go outside to exercise. I'm actually feeling motivated right now. What should I search for on YouTube?
Absolutely. Home workouts are completely weather independent. Rain, snow, heat waves, none of that matters when your gym is your living room. Let me tell you, on days when it's really nasty outside and I see people bundled up heading to the gym, I feel so grateful I can just roll out of bed and start moving. Great question. Try searching for beginner home workout or 10-minute home workout no equipment. You'll find tons of options.
That does sound convenient, but what about the noise factor? I live in an apartment with neighbors below me. I'm worried about doing jumping jacks and disturbing them. Perfect. Any specific channels you recommend?
Oh, that's such a great point. I totally understand that concern. There are plenty of low-impact, quiet exercises you can do. Instead of jumping jacks, try stepping in place or doing arm movements. Wall push-ups are silent, chair squats are quiet, and there are tons of floor exercises like planks, crunches, and stretches that make almost no noise. There are so many good ones. Fitness Blender has great beginner videos. HIIT Workouts has short, intense routines. And Yoga with Adriani is perfect if you want something gentler and more relaxing.
That's really helpful. I hadn't thought about modifying the exercises to be quieter. And I guess timing matters too. Probably not wise to work out at 6 a.m. when everyone's still sleeping. Yoga actually sounds appealing. I've heard it's good for stress.
Exactly. I usually stick to quiet exercises early in the morning or late in the evening. And you know what? Being considerate about noise actually taught me that some of the most effective exercises are the quiet ones. Planks are incredible for your core, and they're completely silent. Oh, it definitely is. Yoga combines physical movement with breathing exercises and mindfulness. It's like meditation and exercise rolled into one.
And what about family members or roommates walking in on you? I feel like I'd be embarrassed if someone saw me doing exercises in my pajamas in the living room. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to commit to trying that 5-minute routine you described for 1 week, and if I stick to it, I'll reward myself by trying a YouTube video.
I totally get that. Here's the thing though, after the first few times, it becomes completely normal. My family barely notices now. And honestly, most people are just impressed that you're making an effort. But if you really want privacy, you can always exercise in your bedroom or even wait until you have the place to yourself. That sounds like a perfect plan. And remember, consistency is more important than intensity. It's better to do 5 minutes every day than to do an hour once a week.
That all makes sense. I'm feeling more confident about this already. So let me ask you directly, how much do you actually exercise now? I want to know what I'm realistically aiming for. You know what? I'm actually excited about this. I never thought I'd say that about exercise.
That's the best part. Once you start feeling the benefits, more energy, better sleep, less stress, exercise becomes something you want to do, not something you have to do.
All right, I'm convinced. Thank you so much for all these practical tips, Ethan. And thank you to all our listeners for joining us today.
And one more thing before we wrap up. Don't be afraid to experiment and find what you enjoy. Some people love high-energy workouts. Others prefer gentle stretching. Some like following videos. Others prefer making up their own routines. The best exercise is the one you'll actually do consistently. Yes, thanks everyone. Remember, if you're like Monica and struggling to start exercising, start small. Even 5 minutes makes a difference.
That's such good advice. I think I've been too focused on finding the perfect workout instead of just getting started. Thank you for making this feel so achievable and practical. Exactly. Don't forget to practice the vocabulary we used today. Words like motivation, consistency, beginner friendly, and gradually increase. These are super useful in everyday conversations about health and fitness.
You're so welcome. And remember, 2 years from now, you could be the one helping someone else get started. That journey from I never exercise to I love moving my body, that's entirely possible for you too. Great point. We'll be back next week with another topic to help you learn English through natural conversation. Until then, keep practicing.
See you next time on Learn English at Home. Bye, everyone.